Gideon. Judges 6-7. Several years passed again, and the Israelites continued to disobey God, despite all that He had done for them. So God let the Midianites come and take power over them. Because of this, it was hard to grow food, and the Israelites turned back and asked God for help. Like He had always done, God decided to help them. From the Israelites was a man named Gideon. His family was neither very strong nor very rich, and he was not expected to be able to accomplish much. But God sent an angel down to deliver a message to Gideon. "Go and save Israel from the Midianites. The Lord will be with you." But Gideon was full of doubt. "Lord, I am neither strong nor rich," he said. "Are you not choosing the wrong person? Give me a sign, then I will trust in you. I will put down a piece of wool on the ground tonight. If tomorrow the wool is wet but the floor is dry, then I will believe in you." So Gideon put a piece of wool on the ground that night. The next morning, the piece of wool was wet but the ground was still dry. But again, Gideon chose not to believe. "This time I will do the same thing," Gideon said, "but I will only trust in you if the floor is wet while the piece of wool remains dry." So Gideon left another piece of wool on the ground for the night. Sure enough, the ground was wet but the piece of wool was dry. After this, Gideon believed in what God had said, and chose to lead Israel to freedom. Very quickly, Gideon went around and gathered 30,000 men who would fight with him. With God leading such a large army, winning against the Midianites seemed possible. But God told Gideon, "You have too many men." So out of the 30,000, only 10,000 stayed. But again God told Gideon, "That is still too many." So out of the 10,000, 300 stayed. God would use Gideon and these 300 men to win against the entire Midianite army. At night, Gideon and his army surrounded the enemy camp. They blew trumpets and smashed clay jars onto the floor. Afterwards, they waved around burning torches, and God spread confusion amongst the Midianites. Not knowing that there was only Gideon and his 300 men, the Midianite army became scared and fled from the lands. Once again, God's people were freed.